Everyone is used to the fact that Enderman Minecraft has one such unique one. But have you ever thought about others' Endermans? One of them has multiple eyes all over its body. Another is a ranged warrior, and the third looks more like an Enderman infected with some kind of virus. They live in the same game universe with the usual Minecraft, which we know well. According to the history of our usual Minecraft, just so happened that no mob has ever entered the Enderworld, and you won't find any zombies, creepers, or skeletons in the edge. But I'm sure you can't even imagine what would have happened with these mobs if they were in the edge. Today you will learn how all kinds of Endermen appeared in the end, and how does this relate to the usual edge of the original Minecraft. Because knowing this, we can learn a lot more about the biology of the most ordinary Enderman. Sit back, Marcus is with you, and we'll start the Minecraft theory. An Enderman whose eyes are located all over his body is called an observer. Each of the Endermen that will be shown today has its own type of attack. Each of them is unique. Therefore, it will be important for us to analyze the story, the appearance of each of them. The Watcher appeared in the forests of the region. Before attacking the player, he runs away and teleports in a few blocks. But then the fight appears again and begins. He has a little more health than usual. An Enderman, he's shorter and has a stronger build. But surely you are also tormented by the question, why are these Endermen different? And this Enderman's eyes are positioned normally like a human's, but this one's all over his body? You can't go wrong if assume that this is a mutation. The Enderman mutated to such a state, and his eyes opened all over his body. The observer did not appear as a result of an ordinary Enderman mutating into an observer. The Watcher is a completely different mob under the wrapper Enderman. And to understand what kind of mob it is, listen to its sounds. I hope you listened carefully to these sounds and clearly heard sounds reminiscent of zombies. Of all the Endermen, only the observer makes zombie sounds. The theory is supported by the fact that there are too many mobs at the end of Minecraft dangers. Based on the cutscenes, mobs can easily open portals and move between dimensions without a player. Therefore, we can assume that at some point, the zombies entered the Enderworld and mutated into the state of observers. Because the moans of zombies in the observer's voice are too solid and indisputable evidence to ignore. Now let's answer the question, what happened to them? Here we need to return to the usual Endermen of our usual Minecraft. I'm sure you've already heard from me that Endermen are people in the past who got into the end and ate Horos for many years. After which they learned to teleport fully. If they weren't people, they wouldn't be talking. Words in English. From Minecraft Dungeonist, we learned that not only people got into the Enderworld, because the zombie that got to the edge also mutated to the state of an Enderman. It's true that it's a little modified, but still we are different. And after looking at the Enderworld of Minecraft Dungeonist, we can say that the diet will be more diverse than just Horus. There are even strange yellow plants here, and how people ate ordinary Horus and became Endermen. Zombies could have something else they could find. Either they ate the same Horus, but because of the specifics of their infected body, they evolved into a slightly different one. The side. What made their eyes open all over their bodies, and further along the theory, you will find more and more evidence that all the Endermen who live in the region are newcomers. Mobs from the ordinary upper world come here. Blastling is another type of Enderman that only fights with ranged combat. He stretches his arms out in front of him and starts firing machine guns at the player. By his anatomy, he is also more strongly built than the usual one. The Enderman has a hot skull like a Ghost Rider while burning with a previously unseen flame edge. I'll assume so, though, that the dragon's breath is the same flame. It's purple in color. It's probably a similar fire. So here are the hands of the Enderman are red hot in color, which causes he's apparently shooting red hot particles at us. It can be compared to the saliva of a llama, but it is much more common and much more painful here. If we listen to the sounds of blastling, it immediately becomes clear. Which mob is hiding behind the appearance of the Enderman? Attention to the sound. And yes, these are blastling sounds straight from the game files. Let's test our theory that this is a skeleton. This mob does not like to fight the player in close combat. If you approach it, it starts run away from the player, shoots only at a distance. This is a characteristic behavior of all skills, and even in the original in Minecraft, skeletons sometimes try to move away from the player during the battle. You can firmly and clearly state that you don't need to eat Horus with a skeleton, unlike zombies and humans. How then could a pile of bones mutate into this? There's such a thick liquid in the end, it's like water for the end. When a player enters it, the process of emptying begins. In general, being in it is harmful to health and it will damage the player. What if the skeletons had been in the bottom water for a long time after that they became blastlings? It is possible that these are flying drops of purple liquid, and it turns out that the liquid in the end not only poisons the player's body, but also has a high temperature. And it is already possible to draw a conclusion that the Ender world spares no one, and most likely the mob that gets there will mutate beyond recognition after a while. Snareling translates as luring into a trap. The Enderman mutated obviously unevenly, which is why he moves on his arms, which are too long and bent. On the contrary, the legs are too short and they dangle in the air. Unlike other Endermen, this species has a yellow appendage on its back, which in itself may even look somewhat disgusting. He attacks the player initially from a distance, shooting slimy and sticky liquid. Then he disappears and appears in front of the player, throwing punches with his long arms. Based on our experience, we have to assume, who is this Enderman? There is something similar to the screeching of a spider in its sounds. Listen carefully. Well, as you know, this is not enough. We need more evidence. And they turned out to be even more obvious than I thought. In Minecraft, the Dangens spider shoots a spider web at the player before attacking, and then attacks the stuck player. This one does the same thing, just lets out a liquid that looks very similar to a spider web but in a different color. The spider web got this color most likely because of the yellow plants. I think it's because of them that the spider evolved to this state. Moreover, unlike other Endermen, it is Snareling that the face resembles a spider's face most of all with his teeth. Besides, I roughly understand where this appendage on his back came from. Evolutionarily, it's a Taurus the spider, its abdomen, which is located at the back. Spiders have a vital organ and intestine in this abdomen. If you eat plants, which, as we have already found out, lead to mutation of mobs, the spider, he may well become an Enderman. These plants were just accumulating in his abdomen. In this abdomen of the spider is the gland responsible for the release of the web. You can Google the structure of the spider's body. And how is it so coincidentally that the web changes to yellow? There are too many facts that indicate that this is a spider. Body structure, sounds, facial texture, the presence of yellow plants in the end colors, and mutagenic properties of enda plants. So now you know where the entrapping Enderman came from in the Minecraft world. The Undercent, or the Messenger of the Edge, is the highest Enderman of all the ones we have reviewed today. His hands are shaped like a hammer, and he is a mini-boss in Minecraft dungeons by himself. He often appears in different locations so that the player can knock the edges out of him. According to the history of Dungeness, the Enders dismantled the Edge portal and made it inactive. Actually, in the original Minecraft, almost all the portals in the region are dismantled. There are no eyes in them, and the sounds of the ambient are found in the distorted forest of the underworld. Then you can dig into the wiki and compare the sounds. You may ask, what kind of mob is this Enderman? And I'll say that nothing. No mob is suitable for Endercenta. It has a unique set of sounds. Therefore, we can only have two assumptions. Either it is a person like Enderman, but slightly modified, or this is a completely different new creature that has nothing to do with the mobs of the upper world. The only possible clue is the hammers. The hammer itself as a weapon is added in 1.21 and can be used by a human. People were in the end and probably brought hammers with them, as well as tools and armor that are now in the cities of the region. In the end, let's answer the question: why are there so many Endermen in Minecraft, but only one in regular Minecraft? It's all about the diversity of the Enderworld. After all, the evolution of all Endermen was led by different plants or Ender liquid, which do not exist at all in ordinary Minecraft. And since the two games are in the same game room, the universe can just assume that the story at Dungeness went a little differently, and it became different from the original Minecraft. That was the end of the theory. If you liked the theory, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel, because there's a lot of interesting stuff about Minecraft. And I'm saying goodbye. Marcus was with you. Good luck to all. Bye-bye to all.